So yeah, this is like a part two of the video, and I'm gonna say the word about suicide. And where do I start? Yeah, I'm not gonna start about like my experiences. I'm gonna talk about like a friend of mine who was a very he's a cool guy, man. Like he's basically he's actually my best friend. I'd say if you got a best friend, he kind of is my best. No, I've got two best friends. He's one of the two, right? And he's like he's doing good now, but he's gone through like a lot of like depression and fucking mental problems, and he had like what they call like suicidal ideation and stuff. And what was strange is as a person with that, right, I've actually never like had to like in the moment like deal with suicide, as in like you know cut the cut the rope down and shit, that kind of thing. Or seen people do it. Like I've seen people attempting it and help stop it, but I mean I'm talking like so this guy it's kind of weird. He's got the suicidal ideation thing, and it's kind of anxiety about death and stuff, and he's like seen so many like suicide people, like literally like gets a knock on his door, and the next door the downstairs next door neighbor sort of thing. Like we got like terraces and thing where like your downstairs neighbors, the door next to you, knock on the bang, bang, bang. Oh, come here. And like he's had to go and like cut down his like neighbor who's hung himself. Um, he's like seen people uh jump from bridges. There's this bridge in Newcastle where a lot of people jump from, and he's like seen a guy jump, and then have to do the police thing. He's also been on other bridges where he's seen people. He's just been like cycling home and stuff, and he's had to talk people down. Like the amount of like, it's kind of God works or the universe works in weird ways, man. Like this suicidal ideation guy has just had an intense experience with other people killing themselves, or him literally being the person that saves him, right? And I'm not sure the point of that, but yeah, he's kind of cool now. But like, say that bridge, for instance, where like he'd seen someone jump off it a few years later, but he'd also saved someone from jumping off it because you're just cycling past and just seen some guy who had a weird vibe and talked them down, kind of thing. Like, let's go for a coffee, like sort of literally save the guy. But this bridge in Newcastle, like a lot of people jump from it, and it's kind of like this whole on YouTube. Let's just like ban the word suicide, right? And it'll happen in every town around the UK and maybe around the world. A lot of people jump off this bridge in Newcastle, and the only reason I know about it is because of my friend, and also I know someone else that is involved in infrastructure or whatever in Newcastle, and like people are jumping off it all the fucking time. But it's never in a newspaper. Never makes a newspaper. It's never mentioned. And is it not mentioned because they don't want it to become a news story? Why is it never mentioned? Is it not mentioned because it happens like every other day? So if something happens every other day, it's not news. But it's almost like if you don't know someone who works in the infrastructure of Newcastle, you won't know how many people jump off that bridge, and it's fucking insane. And also, where my dad lives, he lives in the northeast as well, like not in Newcastle, but there's like this aqueduct bridge sort of thing near him. People are jumping off that shit all the fucking time, um, and it's never mentioned. It's like no one knows about it. So can you imagine, like, so say in Newcastle, we've got like people jumping off this big busy bridge in Newcastle all the time, and no one, it's never getting reported in the news. No one even knows about it. Um, where my dad lives, there's a bridge, people jumping off it all the fucking time. These are just people that are jumping off bridges. Then you say like my friend who's just for some reason always dealing with like was I think it's like the universe telling him not to kill himself. He would just like deal with like people that kill themselves or like help them and shit. There's way more ways of killing yourself than jumping off bridges, right? Like that's probably I don't know a short, a small percentage, right? So basically, it's a very heavy thing in the UK. People killing themselves. I mean, I could do a whole video about why. I think there's many reasons, but no one talks about it, and it's kind of covered up, right? And this whole thing with the YouTube just covering up the word. Like I say suicide now here. Like you won't hear even that word in many videos because you get instant demonetization and stuff, you know? And are people's lives being saved by everybody hiding this? Or is it better to talk about it? I don't know. It's just like one of those weird things like that kind of confuses me. It's like, why does nobody want to talk about it?